Yeah, greetings, family. You're watching Politically Incorrect. Sure.
Barbados, sweet paradise. But the tricksters, full of lies. They want mash up the culture, tear it to the ground. But the people, we stand strong, we hold the rock down. Wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up. Wake up, shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up. It's time to rise, time to see clear, time to open we eyes. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you don't mind. Real news for the people in real time. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up. Hey! Wake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up, my people. Shake up, wake up. Wake up.
Yes, greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, Empress Reserve Menin. Y'all already know, man, it's the universal perfect balance. Well, if we don't get it correct, feel free to correct us. Y'all already know. Who know the number, know the number. For those who don't know, let me go ahead and put that up. Wait, I don't see it. All right. Wait, this is, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I know it says every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Yeah, maybe we should change that. We gonna hook that up soon, though. But anyhow, welcome. Sorry for being late. Where do we begin? The question is, who controls the law in Barbados? Who controls the law in Barbados? The law being the land, the air, and the water. L.A.W. Who control the land, the air, and the water in Barbados? Because all the election talk we hearing all kind of talk. What you not hearing from almost all of them, except one young lady, you're not hearing what you need to hear about the land. You ain't hearing nothing about the air, nor the water. But things happening. When it comes to law in Barbados, man, the law might be the problem. So the question is, who controls the law? Who? Anyhow, tonight is going to be one of those nights where I got a few videos to share. Yes, and of course now, the last video, if it comes in on time, I'll share it with you. You're going to love it. You're going to definitely love it. So stick around for that. I got this thing going on with the last video now. Last videos be like awesome. But yes, we have a few guest appearances tonight. Yes, believe it or not, we have Mr. Ralph Torn making a guest appearance tonight on Politically Incorrect. Of course, we have none other than our our prime server, Miss Mia Moore Mortley, making a guest appearance tonight as well. And we have one or two other candidates, including the young lady, what's her name? Karina Goodridge, I think her name is. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, forgive me. She's making a guest appearance tonight. And also some information that you do not want to miss. Crucial regarding the land, the air, and the water. For sure. So we're going to get right into it. Hang on a second. No, I'm not crying. We're going to get into it. So there was a lot of speculation about Mr. Torn going to Trinidad and doing an interview, yada, yada, yada. And all of a sudden, there's an interview in Barbados. You know, that's fine with me. But I listen, of course, because these are the individuals who keep saying that doesn't matter whether you vote or don't vote, everything affects you. So you should go out and vote. So I think you should also listen. More importantly than voting is listening to what they say when they say what they say when they're saying it, especially when they're saying it like they mean it. Because then you really see what's really going on. You see, you really know. So we're going to get into some stuff tonight. And so, but I also have some controversial matters to deal with. It's a bit touchy. Viewers' discretion will be advised. Also making a guest appearance is Mr. none other than Caswell Franklin. Now, since I did the program on Caswell Franklin, I don't think I've mentioned his name on this program since then. Yeah, I think the eyes have it. I don't know. There's a program we did on Caswell Franklin some time ago, about a year ago or so. But you have to go and look for that one if you want to know what that was about. Although it is kind of relative to tonight, kind of think about it. And that wasn't my plan, but it just so happened. Anyhow, he's on here tonight as well. And I got a question. Where in the world is, we asked a question about Fred Corbin and he appeared. Well, let me see if we can work that same magic tonight again. Where in the world is Dale Marshall? Like, have anybody seen the Attorney General? Well, I don't think he's the Attorney General anymore. But you get my point? Where in the world is Dale Marshall? Not seeing him. I ain't even see him in a red shirt. I'm sure he probably out campaigning as well. Maybe I just didn't see it. So please, somebody, send me a clip, inbox me a clip with him speaking at one of these platforms, one of these rallies. Please send me a clip of this man who they would affectionately call, he always smiling. Send me a clip of the man who is always smiling that had so much to say about the different laws and crime and all the different things they plan to do to help resolve the issue in Barbados. And send me a clip about him on the campaign right now. Where's his constituency? Is he still in the constituency with the people? Is he supporting the constituency? Is he running in his constituency? If he's not, does he openly support the new candidate? Send me a clip. Because like I said, I don't be watching all of them. I got things to do. But somebody, please, please, please send me a clip. Where in the world is Dale Marshall? We asking. We want an APB out on him because I ain't seeing him. I ain't hearing him. And quite frankly, if he don't have the protection of the, what they call it, Parliament anymore, boy, I don't know how this is going to work out. Because I was looking through some documents earlier again, and I see his name on a few involving some, situations pertaining to some land. Well, questionable transactions regarding some land and the sale and purchase of land by individuals, Who controls the law in Barbados? Let's find out tonight on Politically Incorrect. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Hold on, let me say this in the early. If you're now tuning in for the first time, if you're on, most of y'all that watch the program, there are thousands of people who watch the program. That's obvious based on the numbers I see behind the scene and when they block me or don't block me or whatever, it's a lot of people. Majority of y'all don't subscribe and, some of y'all do share, some of y'all download, which is cool. I love it. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you share it with your friend. Make sure you tell somebody. Make sure you like and subscribe so you get all the broadcasts. And don't tell me, man, I ain't getting more notifications. You got to click all. The bells say all. If you don't put all, they're going to only send you some. So don't see me and tell me you ain't seeing me. But sometimes you might not see me. But still, that's not the point. But anyhow, Politically Incorrect. Someone told me the other day that they really appreciate the program. They've learned so much. I was in the bus terminal and the ladies were telling me. And I want to say thank you really again for the people who see me and recognize me. Even the guy tonight, just the voice. He said, I know that voice is like, oh man. But anyhow, I want to say thanks regardless, because you know what? This is why we do what we do, to share knowledge, help each other along this path called life. That's all it is, just helping each other the best we can. So I just want to say thank you all for those who support, direct, indirect, and who show love, and otherwise it's all good. So having said that, we're going to shout out early out. Gwen, greetings to you and the family. Gwen, I hope you're feeling much better tonight. I remember you said you wasn't well first couple of nights, but we give thanks to you. King Alfred, greetings to the Rastaman family. Just hopping off the train. It's cold. Yeah, I heard it is cold. What's the temperature like where you at? Give us an idea what temperature is like where you at, man. Cuba ran out of fuel. I do hope Barbados is not getting its oil from Venezuela. No, that was a plan, and we spoke about it, and I told someone all they got to do is cut supplies, and once the fuel run out, guess what? Businesses going to be affected because no more deliveries could be made, which means food is affected, which means commodity, utilities, and from there everything implodes, and then the people turn on each other. They turn on the so-called administrators, and then once they do that, problem, reaction, solution. Here comes America now with a plan, so we know how that's going to go, brother. Shout out to Daffodil. Say less. Sean, say you late, bro. Man, looky here, Sean. Don't get me wrong. Unless you're watching one of them other programs, this is where you're supposed to be at. So we ain't late. We right on time, man. We right on time. Frank, shout out to Frank and the family. Greetings. Shout out to Alex Mitchell, man. Straight up warrior. Peace more. One of the good ones. Because they got them other Moors, man. We ain't going to even touch that. Greetings to you, family, all day, every day. We got to talk about Mrs. Ward, Alex. When you get a chance in the AM first light, holla at me. Enough is enough, man. Greetings to you too, Empress and the family, all day, every day. This, that, are allowed to break it. Well, Dizzy, I'm going to tell you this, man. We as a people, man, we as a people got to recognize that the power resides within us. So, is what we manifest. That's how I look at it. Ralph Torn says he disclosing assets. I don't even know what that means, man. I don't even know what that means. You tell people what they want to hear. That's what politics is. He disclosing his assets. Okay. Ain't nobody else doing it, so what's the point? Ontario, Canada. Oh wow, he says is up to 10 from 24 days. So send some sunshine. Tim, I'm gonna hook you up, man. Shout out to Tim and the family, by the way. Straight up. Good night to you too, family. Greetings, people. Greetings. Shout out to family in GT, the whole family throughout the Caribbean as well. He said, deal at Gitmo. Oh, stop playing. he on the arrest. Yo, where in the world is Dale Marshall, man? Somebody please tell me, how does a vote meter when you call a snap election and the folks overseas aren't able to vote? Interesting question. How does a vote matters when you call a snap election and the folks overseas aren't able to vote? I think that's a very profound question. Again, it reflects the fear of the BLP, despite all the red and ready, all the red. Look, my program on Monday got censored. It could be because I played the Looney Tunes about Chicken Little. That could be it. It could be that. But anyhow, I adjusted it so it should be back up for those who called and told me thanks for giving me a heads up. If you missed Monday program, that was Monday. It was Friday? Monday. Wait, hold up. Today is... No, today's Monday. Yeah, I mean, last week, that program was, they kind of put a bit of spin on it. They said it was a problem. So anyhow, go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Red and Ready. That was my that was my thing. But you got to go check that one out for sure. But it should be back up now. Not sure, but it should be back up. Greetings to you too, family. Shalom. Princess in the building, man. Princess, give thanks to you and the whole family and my new family. You know who we talking about. We ain't gonna call no names. Make sure you send her the link. Let her know what time it is. By the way, shout out to Pedro and the family. Greetings to you too, family. Jack Cullen, it's good to see you here before. It's good to see you here, Jack Cullen, before 10 o'clock. I'm gonna leave it at that, but it's good to see you online. It's good to see you. Welcome again. Good night, peoples. Miss Bellamy, greetings to you too. Greetings. Did y'all see that picture that was posted with Michelle and the Obamas, leave it at that, where, they said they had them all depicted as chimpanzees, man. The rat not saying what he's holding that is stolen. Interesting. None of them going to declare that, Alex. Our assets, 200 plantations, while they stole and will from the court You know what's going on, Alex. Tonight, Alex, we're going to discuss who controls the law in Barbados. Stay tuned. We're going to touch on that too, because there's a lot of land fraud going on in Barbados. And Miss Motley, I'm telling you, you. At this point, it's almost like you aiding and abetting a lot of these magistrates and judges you put in place. And I ain't not saying all. I ain't saying all, but trust when I tell you, man, a lot of this stuff ain't working. It ain't working. It ain't working at all, man. So the Bajan flag was displayed at the Bunny Show halftime. Okay. Interesting. Send me a clip, Tim. Let me see let me see what's going on. Miss Humphrey, good night to you too. Greetings. Listen, family, we ain't got a lot of time. 15 minutes has already lapsed. Let me jump right into tonight's program. Y'all already know what's happening. Make sure you tell a friend. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Politically incorrect, up and on. Having said that, let me jump into the first video now. I don't even know where to start. Like I usually have a lineup, and it's like, okay, yeah, this how we gonna do this, and then something else happens. But oh man, where do we start? Even young Kimara is supposed to make a guest appearance tonight. Hold on a second. She said, stopping the people from doing their own searches in probate registry. Seriously, that's right. We're going to touch on all of that, man. Tonight, we're going to touch on that, because this is no politician, none of them, except for one I said that I'm aware of. Well, two. I've heard mention this. But then again, maybe the others are mentioning it. I just not at all the meetings, so who knows? But you tell me tonight. Where in the world is Dale Marshall, by the way, Mr. Attorney General? Because, you know, further concern right now, a lot of these ministers need indicting. They need indicting on some serious things that affect the entire nation. It's okay to say you didn't know certain things, but when you make decisions that really alter the course of people's lives, we got to look at this on a serious level, man, and really look at this. So let's analyze this here. Let's go with this first video right here. In fact, I think the best place to start would be to start with the fact that, let me set the tone. I want to put a picture up real quick. I want to put a picture up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This picture is going to set the tone for tonight. I'm going to just put this image up. Shout out to Jean, by the way. Yeah. Jane Goddard, I want to give you a big shout out for sure. Jane ain't easy, man. Warrior for life, man. Definitely want to give Jane a shout out. I'm going to let you know, family, if you don't know who Jane Goddard is, Google her, Jane Goddard, go on her page and give her some energy. Go check out what's going on her page. I want to put this up from Jane's page direct. Shout out to Jane Goddard, like I said, Jane Goddard. So this how we're going to start tonight's program. Straight up. Clico victims. Parish Short and Sinclair among 20,000 to receive payments. Wow. Now remember, Clico dealt with an issue of land, lots and lots of land. Clico Insurance, that whole Ponzi scheme that imploded. You know, up to now, nobody's been indicted in that. I think they mentioned a few names and that was about it. But if I'm not correct, somebody correct me. But y'all remember Clico and the victims of Clico and all that missing land and money and all kind of stuff went missing, right? Y'all do remember that, right? Okay. That's where we're going to start tonight. That's what's going to set the tone right there. Clico victims. If you know somebody that was involved in this whole thing, some folks got their money. If you know folks who never got anything back, wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be very interesting? Anyhow, speaking of Clico, I recently heard one of the young men also talking about Clico, and I want to play this clip. This is not too long, is it? I'll play part of it for sure. Let me switch real quick here. Look, bam, right into it. Young Kimar. Let's jump into this real quick. Hang on a second. Give a listen, family. Give a listen.
I'm going to give you one target that the government reported to the country that they passed. But when we investigated it, they failed. And this policy is a part of our platform as a coalition. A public register of contracts, where all publicly issued contracts will be listed at Kaipor, or what they call Business Barbados, for the public to go and see the name of that contract, the value of that contract, the contractor who received that contract, giving the public full transparency in government and in governance. Now, if we had that public register contracts, a policy that was included in every IMF report from 2018, the government reported that they passed it, but when I personally went to Kaipor had no idea about what is called a public register contract, which means that the government told us bold-faced lies. So the Ministry of Finance, we have three ministers. The Prime Minister, K. McConney, Ryan Strachan. At the time, we have Marshall Cadell, notwithstanding the largest economic team ever to tackle the issues of economy and finance in this country.
Okay. So Young Kimar is telling us that the rules and regulations that should be in place to govern all things in Barbados are not in place. There's another video with him, because I had to, I probably picked the wrong one. There's another one he talks about the Clico land in St. John. He also mentioned Mr. Ralph Torrance' name, but maybe I'll get that link later. I could post it later. But the thing is that when it comes to land, law, air, and water, there's a lot of things that can be said, a lot of things that should have been said that are not said. And quite frankly, at this point, we got to start being honest with how things are unfolding, because realistically speaking, the law is not the law as we know it. And the reason why I say that, because, well, I won't even say it. I'll let him tell you himself. I mean, this was my shock right here when I heard this. And of all people, right? Will Franklin. And he's talking about a law from 1975 that apparently was unconstitutional the entire time. And it's only now he happened to discover this, and he brought it to Miss Motley's attention, and she now want to rectify this. So all people, it's almost like he, kind of subtly promoting the BLP. Of course, he wouldn't outright come and say that, That might explain why you don't see him as much on certain platforms. Yeah, I said it. And I said it.
The president now.
Hold on.
General Public Service.
Let me pull this from the top.
It is all civil service appointed by the governor general, by the president now. General Public Service. There was people called public employees at the time, and they had a Public Employees Pensions Act, the Teachers Secondary School Pensions Act, the Village and Children's Pensions, and all the statutory boards under the Statutory Boards Pensions Act. And there were, at the time, there were 21 of them covered by this piece of legislation. Because every statutory board, like CBC, they don't fall under this act. But 21 other, so it is almost everybody who joined the public service since 1975. And I can tell you, it is everybody in the public service right now, because there are no people who have been in public service from 75 and still working, right? So this legislation, as it now come to light, all those people will benefit, because right now you will get back, you should be getting back the amount that you, the national insurance pension, you put the national insurance pension. So if you're getting $2,000 a month in national insurance pension, and you work for the government, that is what the government owes you. Granted, it's not going to be cheap, and the government will have to find a way to fix it. But the Prime Minister has recognized, because my paper that I presented to her, she shared it with her legal luminaries, and they agreed that I was right. And that the whole legislation that was passed in 1975, it is wholly unconstitutional. No problem can be said.
So he said it's unconstitutional. The legislation was passed in 1975. You can imagine that all this time, this National Insurance Act, whichever part of it he's referring to, was not actually lawful. So how come nobody else has spot this? How come the Bar Association has spot this? How come none of the lawyers has spot this, or none of the attorney generals know about? Not even Miss Motley when she was attorney general. You know why they ain't spotting these things, family? Because when it comes to law in Barbados, no one cares about you or your family or your children or none. So Mr. Caswell, according to him, he came into the rescue. He happened to spot this error. I don't know what background in law he has. Apparently, he has more background in law than they do. And to the point where it's like, yeah, this is going to be expensive, but no, we're going to have to pay these people. Now, I don't know if it's a way to get folks to vote for you. Well, look, we're going to be giving you extra money just now because we're going to fix this thing that was unconstitutional. We're going to make sure we get it organized. Like he said, it's going to be costly, but the government going to find some way to get the money to you. Another promise. So vote this government because they're going to give you some extra money. That's almost what it sounds like to me, but I could be wrong. What do I know when it comes to these individuals, especially the unions, man? I tell you, man, you can't trust them, yeah? Especially certain ones, just being frank, speaking frankly. And let me just go here. Hold on. Somebody said bunch of bandits. You're telling me, man, a bunch of bandits. But hold on, wait, there's more. As if you thought that was it and it couldn't possibly get any worse. It does, actually. It does. It gets really dramatic. Really dramatic. Now, I didn't even know where to go from there, but I'm going to jump right into this interview because we don't got to be. I want to stick up here too long tonight. I got a few videos to run through. And again, this is for people who are sitting down thinking who to vote for. It's a snap election. You got to make a decision under pressure. But while you're making decisions, you need to listen carefully to what these individuals are saying, right? And so I want you to give a listen to this particular one. This one right here is too important to miss. Really too important to miss. So let me go right to it. Let me go ahead and put this on full screen. I had queued up the first section. Let me go right back here. Wait, what? Is this where we started? I don't think it's where we started. We started down here. Yeah, we're going to start down here. Yeah, we're going to start it back here. Yeah, we're going to go to the beginning. And once I jump into the end, then go back to the beginning and then that kind of stuff. We're going to rally it here. Look, we're going to hop in at this point. So, like I said, when it comes to election and selection, shout out to the Clark family. Y'all already know, man. Greetings to the whole family. Good night to you too, Maureen. Greetings to you and the whole family. Shout out to my family again in Guyana. Demerara for Life East Bank. Y'all already know. Man. That halted whole project at Pool St. John is tied up in the Clico fiasco. Well, Tim, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The land, when it comes to land and these issues with the court, the land, the air, and the water, the law is the problem. The Bar Association is the problem. Yeah. The disciplinary committee is the problem. We're going to touch that in a minute too. And by the way, if any lawyer watching this and you feel away, if any judge watching this and you feel away, if any magistrate watching this and you feel away, most likely we're talking about you. Plain and simple. Because if you know you're following the ethics and the codes, you good. Well, at least you should be. You know, when you pelt a rock at a pack of dogs, see the one that howl? Well, that's the one that got hit. So we're going to jump into this right here real quick. Like I said, we're making a guest appearance. Bear with me here for a minute, family. Let me go into this. Because like I said, I did the interview, but I did footage from the video that was in Trinidad. And I pointed out that little condescending remark that lady made. And I don't think Mr. Thorne picked up on it because he claimed to be a man that's sharp, but I don't know how he missed that. He was supposed to defend his people in Barbados at that point in time, but he didn't defend Barbados or Barbadians. And Mr. Thorne, you know, I'm going to say this to you, you know. If I can save that comment for a little later on, I'm going to say it. But after I play the other clip in this interview, let me play this one first, though, Mr. Thorne. This is why politics is politics. And I think, yeah, let me play this, man. Hold on.
Voice. And
before you go any further, by the way, this is these are two young men who would have went to Harrison College, you know, and we know Harrison College is considered one of the, you know, the Harrison College is Harrison College, you know. So what comes with it is let me just play this.
So, but what motivates you to continue on this path, as you just outlined, because this hefty responsibility? What's your major motivation at this stage?
What's your motivation, Mr. Thorne, at this stage? What's your motivation? Let's hear what Mr. Thorne has to say about that in response.
As you just outlined, because this hefty responsibility, what's your major motivation at this stage?
I want to live in a world in which there's justice, and that.
Want to live in a world where there's justice. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Mr. Thorne. That seems fair. I think we all want that.
That motivates me. In law, that was my pursuit. In politics, that's my pursuit. To occupy a world in which there's some justice. You wouldn't get.
To occupy a world where there's some justice. Where there's some justice. Now, at this point, a few moments later, Mr. Thorne, you know, whenever I quote you wrong, you know what to do.
Politics, that's my pursuit. To occupy a world in which there's some justice. You wouldn't get a world in which everybody is equal, because you'll always have the rich and you will have some who are not rich. But you want to occupy a world in which there's fairness, in which people treat each other well, and everybody has a chance. And
that sounds pretty all right. So fair, not everybody gonna be rich. We understand that, but everybody should be treated fairly and whatnot. I personally felt you should have stopped there. But then you go on to say some stuff that I don't know if I understand you clearly. So I want to add some clarity. You know, I don't quite fully get it, but maybe you can correct me if I'm incorrect.
that is what motivates me, that sense of justice, that sense that we can be fair towards each other.
And you say fair towards each other. Are you suggesting that Barbados in 2026 is not a fair and just society?
No, it is not. There's a lot of injustice. And you probably expect me to say this, but over the last 7 years, that injustice has deepened, and it has deepened at the level of policy.
And I want to agree with you, Mr. Thorne. I'm telling you, it has gotten out of control. Totally agree.
Government is treating different people differently. Previous governments have tried. You're not going to get the entirely just and fair society. But over the last 7 years, I have observed in the parliament and by the parliament laws that disadvantage those of disadvantage.
Wait, hold on. What you just said?
That injustice has deepened, and it has deepened at the level of policy. The government is treating different people differently.
So the government treated people differently. We know this. We see it all the time. There's certain people in this country that have access to unlimited resources, dollars, probably stemming from, well, God knows where it's stemming from. Colonial, most likely. I mean, where else could it be stemming from? And all kind of corruption, most likely. God knows where it's coming from. And they could buy up as much property as they see fit all over the country. Land. Even if it is stolen land, even if it's involved in fraud, it doesn't matter. The courts and the magistrates and the lawyers, at least some of them, allow this to go on, and they work behind the scenes in the shadows trying to make all this possible for whatever reason. Meanwhile, disadvantaging Barbados and Barbadians, regular people. And no politician is talking about these land issues, these fraud issues, whether the DLP or especially the BLP, Ms. Mortley, ain't saying a word about none of this. Probably some of them are her, associates, who knows?
Previous governments have tried.
But previous governments have tried to bring this fair and just society, equality for all in terms of, just and fairness.
You're not going to get the entirely just and fair society.
You're not going to get it, though. Now, Mr. Thorne, I don't think you should have said that, personally speaking, especially someone who wants to run for a seat. You can say you're being honest, fair enough. Well, if you're not going to get that honest and fair society, then what are you promising Barbadians? To not be as unjust or unjust as the current one? I don't think any politician sets out to be unfair and unjust. It is just that the injustices that are passed around and handed out in the forms of these laws that you mentioned. Well, who makes these decisions? Because if it is that we supposed to be trying our best as a people to make it happen, to make ends, well, I didn't want to call it ends meet, because at this stage, the amount of wrongs that have been done to Barbados, Barbadians, prior to emancipation, post-emancipation, prior to independence and post-independence, prior to republic and post-republic. There, shout out to Iacobi Maloney. You know, we could call a few more names, man. There's a lot of wrongs that had happened in this country. Shout out to Alex Mitchell and Violet Beckles. Lots of wrongs. Shout out to Miss Stewart. Lots of wrongs. Lots of lawyers that have taken the oath at the bar and not you know, they don't call him King's Counsel tonight, though. I didn't hear it in this particular interview. I didn't even see the KC by his name. For some reason, during this campaign, you don't see that. He just Mr. Ralph Thorne. Of course, I got to highlight that because I've been asking questions for a while. Who is the king you counseling? But anyhow, hold on. Let me just go ahead and play the rest of this. Hang on.
But over the last 7 years, I have observed in the parliament and by the parliament laws that disadvantage those of disadvantage and laws that give advantage to those of advantage.
Now, I must agree with you 1,000% on this one. Totally agree with you on this. And this is true. But Mr. Thorne, that has always been the norm. Any new law that they bring forward, it disadvantages those who are marginalized and disenfranchised. And that's a fact. All of them, at least 99% of the laws that they bring out, it takes away something else from the people. Always. And it only brings advantage to those who, like you rightfully said, are already advantaged, who got the advantage already. I mean, think about it. Tint law, for example, we're going to fine you X amount of money. Really and truly, like I said, these laws only become effective when you ain't got no money. Because if you got money in the tunes of the millions, how often will I get pulled over for tints? If they pull me over once a week, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would simply pay to not look back. Donate a couple of cars to the police station, and guess what? They're not even stopping me no more. Good afternoon, sir. Good to see you again. You know, that kind of mindset. So it don't apply. So, but anyhow, let me jump forward a bit. I got some more, man. I just go and get into this. Hang on a second. Let me go forward to the other section here that deals with some other languages that we was talking about. Let me just skip forward here real quick. Since we're not going to get this, you know, fair society, you know, what we're looking for, since we're not going to get it, what do we get, Mr. Thorne?
The decision, obviously, to stand up to 28 people.
28 people, to include him. Mm-hmm. But I think people generally respected the fact that I was standing up to 28 people.
But Ralph, the decision, obviously, to stand up to 28 people, obviously was a departure from what Ralph Thorne intended to do perhaps 10 years ago. The personality of Ralph Thorne maybe has changed somewhat because he's become, for want of a better term, a political animal now.
So, Mr. Thorne, you know, the host again is so clever. This particular host is clever, and I'll leave it at that. Perhaps this is a Harrison College thing. So, because, you know, at this level now, we're not just representing the highest, you know, plateau in the island, the academic in terms of Harrison College. You know, we must also lock horns because I might be a bit more bright than you. But anyhow, I like this because he slides a little subtle comment in between there. Let me let it play. Because I just want to question this part right here real quick. You know, this is interesting. Mr. Thorne, you're now described as a political animal.
I think 10 years ago, you would have been described as a political animal. Let's talk a bit about Ralph Thorne prior to taking on the massive challenge.
You didn't know me, did you? I've always been a political animal.
Okay.
I've always been a political animal. I like that, Mr. Thorne. Talk about patting yourself on the back. Okay, Mr. Political Animal. But listen to the response of the host. This is just classic doublespeak, subtle insult, and moving right along smartly. His response to him always been a political animal is none other than classic. Listen to what he says. Hold on.
To taking on the massive challenge.
You didn't know me, did you? I've always been a political animal.
Okay, just a cat as opposed to a wolf.
A cat as opposed to a wolf.
I just expressed
They share the laugh and continue.
differently. Look, I've been reading politics and philosophy and sociology for a long time.
Reading politics, sociology, and philosophy for a long time.
At university, my first area of study was social sciences, which I absolutely love, and I absolutely love it more than law. And I was also reading literature. In the last 20, 25 years, I was reading a lot of literature. So there was a preparation for this. In a sense, there was a preparation for this. And if I may say so myself, I think my speeches have tended to reflect my reading of literature over the years.
Mr. Tone, I know I could barely stomach this. I could really barely stomach this. But I got a book for you to read. I don't know if you read it already, but I got a recommendation for you. It's called, shout to Erskine, by the way. Big shout to Erskine, Uncle Erskine, while I'm at it. The Pedagogy of the Oppressed by, what's his name? Paulo Marie. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, some of that. But that's the book I need you to read, Mr. Thorne. You need to read it. You, in fact, you, Miss Montley, and all you political aspiring wannabe leaders, go read that book. Like, if you seriously talking about leading people, go read that book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Go check that out. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell you to go check out. But for the most comical part of this whole interview, and I must admit, it seemed very. Why you don't? Anyhow. Let me go ahead and touch on this other part briefly. I won't get into the political animal part. Let that go. There. I can't take your call right now. I'm doing a live, love. I'm doing a live. I'm doing a live. You know, I'm doing a live. Just letting you know. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna holler back at you. Okay, really? Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Okay, I've got it. What? Yeah, where was I? Right. I tell you, life, huh? Life. You can't with some people. I love it. Give me a minute. So, like I was saying, let me just jump right back into this real quick and go back here. Let me just bring this forward. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because that wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be fair to anyone. But speaking of fear, you know, I think it's important that, again, like I said, despite what they tell you, despite what they claim, what's very important is, how should I put it? I don't want to say what they promise, but they really can't do nothing else when they're outside. And even when they're in at this point, Miss Motley is everywhere, every platform speaking about give us another opportunity. To do what exactly? But check this out.
Visit their daily experience. So it's not numbness. It is fear and it is doubt.
So the question then, therefore, is what difference will Ralph Thorne make?
A politician has a lot of power at his disposal when he is in government. He has the power of the cabinet. He can implement policies from day to day to change the lives of people and to affect crime. He has parliament, and parliament is very important. Some time ago, I was pleading with the government, pass new bail legislation because men are committing murder once, they're getting bail, and they're coming out, Andrew, and they're doing it a second time. Something has to be wrong. Revisit the bail legislation. And the government, they admitted at the time that they were passing a new bail act at my request. But you know what happened, Andrew? The second bail act did very little more than the first, except that it expressed itself in more words, but it did very little more.
Did very little more. You know, he claimed how he spotted. Yeah, you mean Franklin? Yeah, he claimed he spotted. I ain't even touching that. It. Let me say this, man. A lot of these politicians, they speak and they really prey on the fear of the people when they speak, because the bail act, like, so many murders are going on, and they say that a person might be on bail and come out of bail and go and commit another murder. Okay, I'm not sure how many instances they have recorded like that, but for the most part, I doubt very much that half the same murders were committed by half the ones who committed murder before. They're all brand new cases, in most instances, or not majority of them, separate individual cases. So then, although that might somehow be effective in some of the instances that may have occurred, guess what? Overwhelmingly, that does not resolve the issue that there are people being unalived repeatedly by new offenders. So the focus on a bail act might be relevant to some degree. However, the real issues on dealing with the crime, they don't talk about it. They don't discuss what policy. The only thing they talk about is capital punishment, which is the worst thing you could ever think about doing. We want to bring back the death penalty. We want to bring this cheer. We want to bring this injection. We want to bring lynch, whatever they want to bring. Again, laws that disadvantage the disadvantaged, because what they don't tell you is that these are the young, most of these crimes are being committed by the youth. And the way they want to settle the issue with the youth is to kill them. Kill the youths. This is the solution to the problem of crime in Barbados. Because the most of the crimes that are being recorded and reported are the ones being committed by the youth. But the crimes that are being committed by the lawyers, let me talk now, man. Hold on, man. The crimes that are being committed by the lawyers, the crimes being committed by these judges who are clearly taking a bribe is obvious to duck. They would have some private investigation, seize their phone records, you would see, and their WhatsApp messages, you would see the correspondence between the two parties orchestrating behind the scene, outside of court, what goes on in court. Selling land, fraud being allowed to continue in court. Despite sufficient evidence, despite moderate evidence. Well, whether it is moderate evidence or significant evidence, the operative word is evidence. You see, there's sufficient information. There's evidence to suggest there's fraud. And the fact that there's an allegation of fraud by itself should warrant an investigation based on the allegation. Imagine if there's evidence of fraud. How much more that should warrant an investigation? But no. The judge said, nah, go ahead and sell the land. Don't worry about it. You're getting $6 million after all. Yeah, I ain't naming names this time. It will all come out in the wash just now, though. And all you involved in it, I ain't telling you, that's what it is. Yes, the lawyers, crooks, the bar association, we call it what it is, man. The bar association is the problem. I'm telling you, the bar association is the problem. Believe it or not, it is the problem. Today, I want to talk about an issue that has been basically simmering for years. And at this point, is now boiling over, completely boiling over, especially in this election season when accountability basically and integrity, well, it should be on the minds of the people. It should be on everyone's lips, as a matter of fact, across the whole Barbados, at home and abroad. The brothers talked about people who outside of Barbados that want to vote, that can't vote, because why? It's a snap election. You know what I'm saying? Complaints keep coming in again and again and again. And too many people believe that somehow lawyers are breaking the basic rules of professional conduct. I mean, I see it personally. I hear it. I hear people who call and explain it. Even in divorce cases, despite evidence of harm, some of these judges, you think that, I don't know, they've somehow become marriage counselors. No, young lady, take the beat and go back with your husband. Like, wait, what? I don't know. Anyhow, accountability simply don't exist, man. It's almost as if this is just a small matter. We ain't gonna talk about it. We're not even gonna look at it. We just go and just sweep it under the carpet and keep moving. Talk about clients' money. I saw a message earlier. In fact, I got a letter from a particular lawyer that said this is over a year that they're going to give an account for this estate that they ain't got no business involved in. They're intermeddling, by the way. They're intermeddling in an estate, but they're telling the rightful heir to the estate that they're going to give them an account of the estate, and the financial aspect that concerns them, they're going to get that to them. It was over a year now, and not a word. Money. Close to $1 million. That's, anybody can't tell you where it's going up to now. Anyhow, a simple legal transaction that's dragged on for months, even years, leaving people financially strained, emotionally exhausted, and in some cases, legally exposed. You know, financially, you might got your mortgage to pay, you might got medical bills to pay, you might got school tuition, your children overseas to pay, you may got, who knows? And every time this happens, the reputation of the entire legal professional takes another hit. But the Bar Association seems to be okay with it. The disciplinary committee, I don't know what they exist for. And Mr. Ralph Thorne is a KC, you know, King's Counsel. These are things he should be speaking about. They're supposed to protect the public, but they don't. They're right now being slow and unresponsive, man. Very ineffective as far as I'm concerned. But hey, we just ain't gonna say that. You know, I think at this point we need to look at some solutions to some degree and see how best we could fix this, Alex. You know what you think? Steal the estate, Alex, man. They literally stealing estates. All this, everywhere you go, you see a change of use sign in Barbados. Change of use, change of use. Another thing too, look, if you drive around the country, like especially in the inner St. George and St. Thomas and some parts, Christchurch, you see a lot of construction of warehouses going up. Y'all notice this? So many warehouses going up on what used to be, you know, agricultural land. So many estates, so much warehouses being built, developed, showrooms, all this. I'm like, it's like they know something we don't know. Like shit. Clearly, there's something going on, man. This one here got me. He says, speak about Tony Moore off land for votes at $5. Wait, whoa. Offer land for votes at $5. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Run it by me again. You said that Tony Moore is offering land for votes at $5 a square foot. I suppose that's what it is. I've never heard that one before, Alex. You got to bring the receipts on that. Put up or shut up, according to Miss Motley. Criminals make informed decisions. Listen to them carefully, especially Ralph Thorne. Wow. Well, hold on. I'm gonna tell you how Ralph responds to these kind of comments because he doesn't really fear with them. But Mr. Thorne, you as a man who is, you know, in the King's Council, why you don't speak on the fact that these matters exist within the legal system of Barbados? And reality is there's no independent committee that hold lawyers and the bar accountable. They should be in. You can't ask the bar to investigate the bar. Like what kind of illogical criminal intention is that? You know, it's crazy. But then again, you know, who gonna speak on these matters, man? Who gonna speak on them? Plenty of families. If you did a survey right now across Barbados, there are plenty of people who will tell you that the lawyers have done so much to them, you know, legally done things to them, and they just throw their hands in the air and walk away for fear of different. Look, you got lawyers threatening people if they come back in the country, going to get you arrested for defamation of character because they said that the lawyer stole some money, like George Payne. Yeah, I call them like Dale Marshall. You know, this is what's going on here. But where is Dale Marshall, by the way? I keep asking. Nobody. Let me see the comments real quick. Hang on a second. Hang on. They slow down the net below 3G, which means net bills need to be cheaper. Well, Alex, again, speaking of net bills and cheaper, I'm going to tell you all something tonight y'all might not know. He wants to finish his hotel on stolen land. He better check his own home title deeds. Oh, man. The rat looks like a fool trying to be slick. Man, look, yo, don't be insulting Mr. Thorne like that. That is not politically correct. That's not politically correct. You never said nothing about COVID-19 jobs. He part of the 30 and not a word. Lying lawyer. Yeah, you had that as one of my notes because as well, Alex, what about the COVID and vaccines? There are things that Mr. Thorne has never touched up to now, and he can't touch it. And I could say this, he could hear this, and he still can't touch it. The most he could do is chuckle and make a comment. In fact, I'm gonna play what he said earlier. Give me a minute. Corruption at its highest. They're all in cahoots. Do not let them deceive you. They're in cahoots, man. See if the human rights lawyer would say something. No comment, Pedro. No comment, no comment. But hold on. Let me get to it. There's lots of comments here. All of them should read the book. That's right. I totally agree they should read that book. They need fresh body parts of the young black men. Good night to you too, Miss Knight. Greetings and welcome. Hopefully you are comfortable in this arena tonight. You know, who controls the law in Barbados? Law being the land, the air, and the water. Right now we're discussing the land and law and lawyers. And the lawyers and the Bar Association that needs overhauling. The bar need a bush bath, man. I heard an old saying, you can vote without an ID as long as you're registered. So the dead, if still registered, will be voting. Wow. I saw a video I had to play when they had the early votes, right? I don't have it anymore, Pedro, but I did have it queued up to play, and I must have deleted it for whatever reason, or might have put it in research file. I had a video when they were bringing in the votes, and I saw the car and the police escort. I thought to myself, like, most people would be secure thinking that, yes, the police escort that car with that box, so those votes in that box are all legitimate. And they go into a building, they go into the elevator, and they go all the way to the top. They don't ever show you that part, though. But who's to say the elevator don't stop at another floor and they switch boxes? Like, who's to say? Who is to say? Like, who knows? Like, there's no transparency in this whatsoever. It doesn't exist. You will be deceiving yourself if you really trust the way the system works. Like, if they had all the boxes brought into a public area in Bridgetown, where everyone's allowed, the gymnasium, where folks are allowed to come who are interested in coming. I don't know the gymnasium, a whole that kind of crowd, but and aired it live on television. All boxes are escorted via camera from the point where they're received to the point where they're collected, and they're shown on. We live in a technological era now. That is not an impossible task. That is not an impossible task. Straight up. But, you know, anyhow, let me go back here real quick. Hang on. Let me go ahead to this video. Where we at?
And people in this country still can't get bail as easily as they did before. It may surprise you to hear that. But when you have the law at your disposal, when you have parliament at your disposal, laws that are man-made can be made even more, even more severe, if you want to say that, or even more strict. Let me use the word strict, by the same man that made the previous law. And that
more strict laws. But look, man, if y'all think Miss Motley is a despot, right? And that's the word that most Barbadians learned in the last 7 years, because they played the Oinata clip describing her. Prior to that, I had never heard the word myself, but nevertheless, one of those words that is now a buzzword. I wonder what they would call Mr. Thorne after 3, maybe 4 years. I wonder what they would say. I wonder what they would say to him, how they would describe him. I wonder. I absolutely wonder. Nevertheless, let me play one more clip from Mr. Thorne before we move on smartly. Hang on. Let me just go right here one time. Let me just skip all that. Get right down here. All the way down to the, right about here. It should be good. Yeah, it should be good. Hang on.
That to me, stay away from me. Stay off my page.
Hold on. So Mr. Thorne talks about the pressure from social media and that kind of stuff. And he just basically claims that he just blocks people from his page because, you know, he has no time for that kind of energy and whatnot. And I thought it was kind of interesting, you know. And I guess you could do as you please, because after all, it's your page. You know, those who aspire to befriend him only to then become blocked because, you know, you didn't say something in his favor. Well, I ain't a friend on the page, so I could say what I like. You know, you could do his block where you don't want to hear, but I thought this was funny, Mr. Thorne. Like you, is entertaining. This is entertaining. So, but listen to this portion. Hold on a second.
I'm going to block you.
Right. So, well, and I mean, I'm not a big Facebook man. I mean, to be very honest, I don't even know if I have Facebook friends.
Yeah, I do it for politics, Andrew. I do it for politics.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you know, in the scheme.
Oh, y'all didn't miss that, right? I do that for politics. I just do that for politics. That's just for the record.
Of things and the political cut and thrust, as they call it.
Yes.
I mean, the political discussions in Barbados now seem to revolve more around social media than
indeed.
around the nights and campaigning, etc. It's really amazing.
Yes,
when you go online and you see the amount of people who are actually online watching either one or the other party or the other.
Yes.
So I mean, how has that dynamic changed for you as someone who grew up, as I did, without social media?
Yes. Andrew, a lot of it is entertainment.
It really is entertainment, though. I totally agree with you, Mr. Thorne. It is hilarious.
A chappie will come on Facebook and he's going to put up something so outlandish, maybe gossip. People love gossip, and it is entertainment. And the number of people who respond to it, either by likes or by comments, and then you'd see somebody say, "I'm here for the comments," and that then becomes funny. So it is entertainment. It's a world of entertainment. There are a lot of people who use Facebook to create a new identity, to create a new image. Maybe they're not happy with the image that other people know genuinely. And Facebook offers many people the opportunity to start again, to create this new image, somebody different, somebody acceptable. And I can appreciate that, because nobody wants to go with an old image that they don't like. So that is the redemption that Facebook offers. And Andrew, you see it for what it is. You don't take it as seriously as you should, or as they intend that you should. So a lot of it is false. A lot of it constitutes a very false medium. But it is entertainment for a lot of people.
How do you
Well, speaking of entertainment, I can't help it, Mr. Thorne. I absolutely have to agree with you. For the most part, it is entertainment. I don't know if it's all false, but it's entertainment. But I'll tell you what, you be the judge of whether or not it is false or not. And let me just play this one. I came across this one recently, Mr. Thorne. Some chappie would have posted this, Bim first clip. So hold on, let's have a laugh together, Mr. Thorne. Let's just have a laugh together. After all, it is all entertainment, right? Hang on. Let me just put some volume on this. I'm not gonna read the comments though, but I'm definitely here for the comments. Hold on a second.
This is Dancy government. This is Dancy government, and only a government of dunces. The Democratic Labour Party government is not a government with a good mind. I want to say to you, and I want to apologize to them, I want to call them dunces. They are dunces, and that is why they cannot get anything done properly.
Ralph don't got no new ideas at all.
Well, I thought that was funny. I personally thought it was funny because this is a clip from the Barbados Labour Party campaign a few years ago, and the rhetoric is identical. So I agree with you, Mr. Thorne. Perhaps, we don't want to have the old image of self being portrayed, and therefore, obviously, Facebook allows us to, recreate that onto the Democratic Labour Party now being said in response to the BLP. It's amazing, huh? This thing called social media here. I tell you. But anyhow, I think we have given Mr. Thorne enough attention for one night. And the reality is, like I said, this is for folks who are voting. I want y'all to listen carefully when these individuals speak to you. Do not take it for granted. And do not tell yourself that they mean anything other than what they said, because they say what they say when they said it. And when they said it is what they said when they said it. And that's what they meant. Bottom line, in that time, in that moment. But listen to the rest of the interview. You can find it on social media somewhere or the other. And then you guys could, make a decision from there with regards to if to pay attention to it or not. Now, having said that, though, I want to play another clip here. And this one here might be a little touchy, but we got to do it. Speaking of politics and BLP, let me go ahead and put this one on the screen because I thought this was interesting too. But I wanted to show you the disingenuousness that, because this is very disingenuous from the BLP standpoint. Again, when they can openly denounce everybody else. And this is why I'm saying that, it is, I don't know if it's, this is how I'm telling you, it is all a collaboration deliberately designed to keep you away from people like Alex and all the others who making a difference. And there was supposed to be an interview tonight with someone, and they're scheduled for tomorrow. I won't call a name right now. I'll leave it and see what happens. But this is the kind of thing that And in light of all that's being said and done, we're going to have a field day on Friday. We probably won't come on Wednesday night. I'll probably do a program tomorrow, Tuesday, but probably not on Wednesday night. We just going to probably go to the beach or something, while they make the election announcements. But let me play this clip first, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is Barbados Labour Party's ad. This is an ad, most likely. But listen, I want you to listen to the language of the ad. Listen to it carefully.
Elections are choices. They are choices between two people to serve as prime minister.
Elections are choices. Choices between two people. Hold on a second. Thought subliminals, right? Listen to this carefully, man. This how family, listen, man. Hold on a second. I want y'all to understand when y'all listen to this clip here, right? Now, this is the level of sorcery that's involved in this. And I use a strong word and say sorcery, but it's pure mind control here. It is pure mind control. And if you're not cognizant and conscious of the fact, then trust me, you are a victim to it. Without question, because when last I checked, there's way more than two people. But hold on, listen to the language of this. Listen to the language.
Elections are choices. They are choices between two people to serve as prime minister.
And the two people to choose, they show you who? They show you Miss Motley in bright red colors. Bright red colors. Hold on.
Elections are choices. They are choices.
Miss Motley in vivid, bright red colors. Clear, almost crystal.
Between two people to serve as prime minister.
Then they show Mr. Thorne in what appears to be an obscure, fuzzy, almost irrelevant image.
And there are choices between two parties to serve as
two parties. Again, Miss Motley's party, vivid colors, bright.
Government.
And again, Ralph Thorne is in the dark shadow.
On February 11th, ask yourself, do we take a risk on Ralph Thorne and the
Do we take a risk on Ralph
DLP?
Dark colors again. Dark colors.
Or do we keep Mia Motley and the BLP?
Bright colors, vivid colors.
Who offer strong leadership in changing times.
Okay, man. All I'm saying, right, family, is that, a lot of people are watching these ads or seeing these messages and will be manipulated by the imagery being portrayed. And of course, a ruling party doesn't want to give any credit to anybody else or anywhere else for that matter. Well, let me let this finish playing out because I see what's going on here. I see what's going on. Hold on, family.
Mia Motley and the BLP delivered a national minimum wage and then raised.
They delivered a national minimum wage, although the Minimum Wage Act goes back from 2017, but they didn't get back in, so they never got a chance to finish it. But it's all the same continuation of the continuation of the continuation.
State, lower taxes and VAT relief to put more money in your pocket.
They actually act like they did something. How about giving Barbadians and the families who have been disenfranchised in this country for centuries, who have been slaving on this wine press much too long? How about transferring wealth from those who would have gained wealth in this country? How about doing a forensic audit on the same families who are the children of the children of the children who did the enslaving, who are living off the backs of the same ones they enslaved, still up to this day? How about holding them accountable? You ain't getting that done. I'm done with that clip, man. Done with it. Family, what I'm suggesting to you is that there are things that have to be done here in Barbados that will make a difference. Failing to do so at this point, any campaign, any member of parliament, any opposition, anyone who's claiming that they want to be opposition, any one of them, they don't care. I'm 70 years old. He said, if the majority of lawyers are MPs, but also part of the fraternity, how then is there two separate parties of B's and D's? That's one of them. That's one of them questions, Jacqueline. The rap was stealing before Mia became a lawyer. Oh, man. Alex, you got to bring facts, man. You got to bring facts. You can't just throw that out there. Bring the facts. In fact, I do have one thing to say. I don't know how far back Miss Motley became a lawyer, but I did remember seeing the check that was written to Mr. Ralph Thorne for services that were never rendered. And I did put that check up on this program. I did put that. But hey. Maureen said, true thing. Pedro said, hold on, what Maureen said. Hold on. I have lived in many countries. I have never seen any country where all the citizens are satisfied with any government. I came into this world and found these systems and will leave the system. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why I'm saying the only way we can bring relief to these issues is simply to create our own despot, a ruler, or other person who holds absolute power, who particularly uses the power in a cruel or oppressive manner. We might have to. Ralph wants stricter rules. I know he want to put you back on the plantation. That's what the DLP sounds like they want to do. Put you back on a plantation. That's what it sounds like, man. You're getting out of hand. The haves and the have-nots. We're not going to get we're not going to get it right for our justice, but we want it as fair as possible. So we want a fair and unjust society. Unbelievable. Hold on. That is the Luciferian flag beside her. Which ones are you referring to, Pedro? I might have missed something back there. Anyhow, hold on. I got some more videos to play real quick. Hang on before I get out of here. Let me go and pull these up real quick. I can get rid of this. Ralph said they're a bunch of dunces. Yo. But you know what? Let me go here real quick. Let me just go ahead and play this one here. This one right here. This. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why Miss Motley did this, but she did this, and she did this like no one else could have.
The one thing I know is that I'm not going to disturb you. And I will neither disturb you with the DLP manifesto.
Now, what I don't get is, you know, I to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pedro, but did me and Motley discuss the DLP manifesto before the DLP actually launched the manifesto? Like she had a physical copy. It's okay to say it was online, but the actual book, so you suggest that she downloaded it online and put it in book form just for this moment? Or did somebody leak her a physical copy of the book itself? It looks like that's the actual book. If so, my question is, Mr. Thorne, do you got a rat amongst you? A mole, perhaps? But if that wasn't sufficient, right? Like, how did she get that? Anyhow, if that wasn't sufficient.
You want the short version or the long version?
She has the short or the long. I ain't even touching it.
I am almost tempted to tell you, carry a copy to Ryan Walters. I'm sure he is here yet.
Talk about arrogance, right?
And you know what is amazing? This lady, to my certain knowledge, from the city of Bridgetown.
The lady on the cover, to her certain knowledge. Now, this is where it gets this is why I'm telling you something ain't right with this election, family. Something is not right. Mr. Thorne is either working or the BLP is working for him, or he's working for them, or because somebody behind the scene, whether deliberately or otherwise in his campaign, how could you put a BLP representative on the cover of the Democratic Labour Party manifesto? Like, who does that?
It's well known to me.
Miss Martin says she know the woman personally.
And while she may have hugged Ralph then, I don't know that she's hugging Ralph now. And this other lady behind there, to my certain knowledge,
Not even one, but two.
like Tyra, was a young Dan. And like Tyra, came and resigned from the Democratic Labour Party and joined the Barbados Labour Party. Now, are you so desperate that you put on the cover people who have repudiated you?
People who have repudiated you, Mr. Thorne. You give Miss Martin the opportunity to get on the stage and put you in this position, or she allow you to recognize that there are people you trust in that clearly you shouldn't trust.
And have said that they don't want anything more to do with you. And are you so consumed? There's one picture here.
Now, this is this is just for entertainment purposes here, family. Pure entertainment purposes.
That is so affected. I'm not gonna bother with a lot of words, because the truth is that it is a lot of nothing and a lot of nothing because he can't afford to do half the things that he's doing in here. But who stands up like that?
Miss Motley, you wrong. I tell you, you're wrong. You wrong for this, man. You just wrong. You on the stage making fun of Ralph Thorne. Like, really, you know, we not stooping to that level, missus. I mean, come on. What kind of politics is this now? Where is the policies and discussion? This is a circus in town, I'm telling you. It's pure circus in town. Do not fall for it. Y'all, look, I can't even bother, man. Who stands up like this? I didn't even see the picture. It got me curious. No, I'd like to see it. Only Miss Motley, man. I tell you, I don't know. I don't even know, man. And you know, anyhow, moving right along, man. Let me just move right along. Like Mr. Thorne said, it's entertainment. Why not have a good laugh, you know? Why not? Laughter is the best medicine, man. Moving right along. Let me switch this video here. Speaking of is this like a washout, right? Speaking of a washout, let me just go here real quick to this video. Because why we all laughing and watching politics, and why we caught up with politics and we laughing, there are things going on around Barbados that should, and I mean should, let me just double check this real quick, that should have gotten our immediate attention. How do I get this done now? Let me go to this first. Hold on. Let me go to this first. I just want to double check something real quick. Let me just double check this thing here real quick. Highway being paved. You know when they paving? The road in St. George from Roberts to Chan Road Bridge. I don't know. Clearly no minister uses that road. That road been that way for so long. That is amongst one of the worst roads in Barbados. Got to be one of the absolute worst roads in Barbados. From Robert Street all the way across to Chafet, Chan Road Bridge, the junction. Madness. Here it is. Yes. Thank you. Just want to verify something. The date, because I didn't have a date on it. So I'm definitely going to put this video now, though. Let me switch this program real quick here. Hang on. I didn't want to put it up and not have the date. So while we were all being entertained, hold on, let me go ahead and I got to close.
There are some.
Hold on. That was close. Let me close this, close this, close this. There you go. I had some messages on the site there from some folks in the inbox, and I couldn't afford to y'all to see those messages because you know, leave it at that. The inbox crew, thanks to the inbox crew, though the inbox crew serious with it. But anyhow, while we were being entertained, right, and watching all the the little antics, all the shows every night, a lot of things have happened recently that we've been not paying attention to because we're so caught up in the campaign. This is one of those things that recently happened, and I'm going to play this video real quick here, family. I want y'all to pay attention to what is going on in Barbados. And this is from the Government Information Service, by the way. Let me just put this up here temporarily. I'm trying to find a spot where y'all can see. But I want y'all to pay attention to this video. Please pay attention to this video. These are some of the things going on behind the scene, okay? While everybody's busy waving red, yellow, and blue, this is what's going on in Barbados, sir.
It is the liquid of life. We all need it to survive. Water, choose water first. Water, water for drinking, water for cleaning, water for planting. Just keep it flowing. We know that we all deserve it. Choose water first.
The Barbados Water Authority's acting chief executive officer and the China Railway Shanghai Engineering Group Company Limited project manager have signed the contract for the construction of the South Coast Water Reclamation Facility.
The Water Reclamation Facility
At the headquarters of the BWA. The formalization of this agreement, along with the groundbreaking ceremony, signals and formalizes the commencement of the state-of-the-art infrastructure project that has been years in the making. Signed, sealed, and to be delivered as the Barbados Water Authority, with the support of its partners, moves full steam ahead with the Barbados Climate Resilient South Coast Water Reclamation Project.
Okay, the Water Reclamation Project. Now, I might have heard about this in passing some time back. Does anyone have any details about what this really is? Now, to my knowledge, a few years ago, about a decade ago, I came across some information about China actually going around the world harvesting, guess what? Water. Harvesting water that was being shipped back to China, being stored. Why? Because in the future, who controls fresh water? Well, I gotta tell you what's our power that is. So, I ain't really sure because I am sure this facility gonna cost money. And the China debt trap, we know how it works. If you can't pay it back, we just gonna hold on to it for now. And we know that our aquifer here, Barbados water, is some of the sweetest water before they mess with it worldwide. I mean, filtered naturally through limestone and whatnot. But anyhow, I don't know much about this. I know that this sounds major as far as I'm concerned. And what the thing is that is the players that are involved. Let me make a skip forward here a bit and we could take a look. Hang on. Let's listen a bit more. Have a little patience here, family.
Among the international partners working on the financial package, which ensures Barbados's debt is not affected by this over $200 million project.
To make sure that our current debt, is not affected by this, here are a list of some of the players involved.
Are the Inter-American Development Bank,
the IDB, Inter-American Development Bank. Remember that bank? The whole school issue, the little, the scandal they had that we still ain't got a clue about. Yeah, that bank and the information that was taken, although it should have been destroyed. But anyhow, yeah, that bank.
The European Investment Bank.
The European Investment Bank.
And the Green Climate Fund.
And the Green Climate Fund. A combination of monies pooled by some entity, I guess, through the UN, I suppose.
We've worked hand in hand with the Barbados Water Authority and government counterparts on procurement, technical guidance, and design, ensuring this project meets global standards and delivers lasting change for Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what partnership and climate leadership looks like.
This is what partnership and climate leadership looks like. Now, again, I don't have a problem with any of these initiatives once they are going to be beneficial to Barbadians first, Barbados as a nation, and by extension, wherever else that goes. But what exactly going on here? Like, just in the mix of election, all these things happening here. All I'm saying is a lot of things happening while we are distracted with all the red banners and yellow flyers and whatever else, motorcades and anyhow, family. I just gonna let this. In fact, hold on. Let me play a little 30 seconds more. Hold on. Let me get a piece more. Hold on.
In action. I'm proud of how everyone, including our team, has rallied together to continue building a Barbados that's water secure, food secure, and has a climate resilient future. The European Union.
Climate secure. Look, man. If y'all don't know the truth about the water in Barbados, how there are companies in Barbados mining water in Barbados and selling water back to the water authority and in turn selling back to you. Well, if they're selling water to the water authority to sell back to you, who else are they selling water to?
And the European Investment Bank is really proud to stand alongside the government of Barbados and our partners in realizing the objectives of this transformative operation together. And together, we are demonstrating what can be achieved through robust international cooperation and local engagement. Thanks to this collaboration, funds have been unlocked through the Debt for Climate Conversion, allowing Barbados to carry out the investments for this project.
The
Funds have been unlocked.
long-standing friendship between Barbados and the People's Republic of China has been underscored by this water reclamation initiative.
This project will be a testament to our sharing commitment to the progress in line with the spirit of our time. This landmark project serves as a part of pioneering collaboration, innovation, and unwavering commitment.
Unwavering commitment. I just want you to look at these players right here real quick. Real quick. Just look at the players. Who's involved in this? The pedigree. The pedigree. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to see the pedigree in motion. Don't get tapped with these individuals here. Don't get twisted with these men. If we were to do the etymology of these names and do the family trees and the history and go back, we'd be surprised, right? I bet Barbados would be shocked and in awe. They all smile and happy. You go watch this video for yourself, man. Like, go watch the rest of it. Because it's a little longer than that. I'm not going to play the whole video. It's on Faith. It's on the JS page. It's probably on their website as well. You could probably get it off of the Government Information Service. Go check that out, family. While you were sleeping, this is what was going on. While we waving red flags, this is what was going on. Why Miss Martin making fun of the DLP manifesto before the DLP even launched the manifesto in book form, not the soft copy that's online. Yes, Mr. P, so we thank you for trying to do some cleanup for that. But somebody among y'all have a mole in your organization, somebody leaking information, man. Straight up. Crazy. Can't even trust them at this point. You don't know what's going on. All is one. They all is one. Anyhow, I came across a video. Hang on a second. Let me see if we can find it here. Let me see if we can find it here. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. A young person making sense. Young person making sense. Hang on a second. While we were sleeping. There you go. Hang on.
There's a great disconnection with the youth and the government, the Barbados Labour Party. The youth of this country, when I speak to them, it's almost like if they feel as though they are not being heard. We have young professionals of this country, and let me divide the youth first. You have the Generation Z, that's the new thing. Some people call it the Gen Z. And then you have the millennials. The Generation Z is from age 8 to 23. Then you have the millennials that, like myself, the millennials like myself, that come within the age group of 23 to say 35 years old, right? Now, young professionals are coming out and we are not having the careers that we are looking for. We need the opportunities and we need the government to step away from the traditional view that, you know, I'm a lawyer, but everybody got to be a lawyer or doctor or engineer. We have some young people who love video games. And, you know, some parents know, I don't want you to beat the children when you see them on the video game because right now, you can have video game programmers. Video game programmers, that's a good avenue. And I want to urge the government, especially particularly the Minister of Sports. My friend Mr. Williams here would have spoken on sports before.
This is a few years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago. And the point is that video games for young people, you see a youth right now, most young people playing video games. Why can't the school incorporate video games and how to create video games? And they said coding. Okay, coding is just a broad term, but be specific. There are a lot of youths who might actually like and enjoy getting involved in that aspect of things. Just my 2 cents. But I thought this was interesting. I came across this for more reasons than one. I would even get to play the other part because this would also, this video is a little long, but there's another section of this video that speaks well, that's when Miss Tyra was wearing blue instead of red. But it's quite interesting. But I'm going to let that go at this point because, yeah, I'll let it go at this point. But Daffodil, I'm glad that you brought this up. It's important to recognize that there's a spring where they're looking to do this water storage plant and treatment plant. And that spring water, I guarantee you, that spring water now is going to become harvested, probably bottled, and shipped back to China for all we know. That's not about Barbados here at all. The question is, what is this treatment like? Transparency, right? Young Kimar started when we spoke earlier about contracts and transparency. So China is going to be building this facility like they built the one up in St. Lucie for agriculture. We ain't connecting dots. We ain't connecting dots. We're too busy with election selection. Somebody asked me a question, Emmanuel. If you and I go into an agreement and you default, did I trap you into debt? Well, yeah. If you knew that I couldn't pay you back in the first place, yeah, you did. You knew that. In fact, not only did you know that, you encouraged me to mess up the project. And in fact, the agreement that was signed, that guy there from Barbados, hold on a minute. Let me go back here real quick to this video. Give me a second. Let me go back here real quick. Hang on a second. Here it is. Let me go back here for a second. Hang on. You see this video right here? This part here is what caught my attention. Hold on. This part right here. I mean, y'all notice what I noticed? This contract is so vast that it is in a folder, a binder that you carry to school back in the days. This looks like it's about a good, 3 inches thick. Looks about 3 inches thick. This contract looks to be about 3 inches thick. Like, what information could they possibly have in that take up so much? You know, like, I would look, this should be made public. This should be public knowledge. But it probably won't be because Water Authority may not be public. It might be private, in which case they don't really have to show you what they're doing. Where's young Kimar? Let him go and get on top of this. He be digging it up. Go get this, Kimar. Go get him. The first thing that caught my attention was the size of this contract. And I'm thinking to myself, man, they got these 2 brothers here signing off on this thing right here, man. Like, yo. Acting CEO. You're not even like, anyhow. Yeah, like I said, family, something ain't right. Something ain't right. There's no free money. These HINA loans have a non-disclosure agreement. That's why I'm telling you, Sean. I don't know, man. Debt for nature swap. Remember that? Debt for nature swap. So we're going to give you some of our water, just write off some debt. Debt for nature swap. I don't know. She said, not too late to learn to speak Chinese, family. I ain't even touching it. He said, yes, it's about water, but the water is not for Barbados public. It's for the cruise ships industry. Up to 50 super ships will resupply in Barbados. The ship take a lot of water. The food will come from Guyana as 6,000 workers to come to Barbados to work as Barbados seek to make a deal for 198 square miles of land to grow food. Oh, you know about that deal, Alex. Okay. Interesting. Pedro, what nature is being traded? Sean, you can't be serious. It's in the name. The water treatment facility. Anyhow. Land, air, and waste. The land, air, and waste. Well, I don't know if it's waste. Where you got the land being stolen, you got the water being controlled. Well, as far as the air is concerned, well, you know what happening with the air. I don't trust nothing these people do. Some are left, some branches I and I at the root. Some are leaves, some are branches, I and I at the roots. I understand. Some are leaves, some are branches, I and I at the root. See, it's drinking sewage water, yuck. Nah, Sean, don't get tight with it. That ain't sewage water they're talking about right there. That's spring water. You see, the sewage water conversation was to throw you off. It was to throw you off. They know who they're going to be giving the sewage water to. And they know while they're tapping into the sewage water at the treatment, they also tapping into the underground spring. But we ain't thinking outside that box. We getting distracted by the idea of sewage water. So we against the sewage water. I ain't want none of that. They don't want it for you. So, okay. Ross, they're speaking about treating sewage water to add to the aquifer. They know exactly what they're doing. And like I told you all already, the sewage water going through the aquifer ain't nothing new. All the wells in Barbados are dug into the limestone, and all your waste going to that well, it drains and going to the same aquifer. So I don't know what the distraction is, because, I mean, again, you got to pan out and think about it holistically. That's not what's going on there. That's pure distraction, family. They come to harvest spring water from Barbados, pure water from Barbados. Don't get twisted. Me and my brother and the boys used to go there, swap on the property and play in the spring. Daffodil said there's a spring on that site. There's a spring on that property. I know sewage plant. That's spring water. Study your answer, Emmanuel. Many of us value your contribution. How would I know your strengths? Study your answer, Emmanuel. Many of us value your contribution. Okay, tell you what. Does this go back to the question you asked me earlier in terms of, let me see if I can find it. When you asked me if we enter into an agreement and I default, they trap you into debt. Is that what you're referring to? And if so, like I told you, the answer would be yes, because you knew firsthand that I didn't have the capacity to pay you back. In fact, like I said, you encouraged me not to. So that was the plan from the get-go. It wouldn't be a case where you trick me or I trick you. We both understood at the inception that was the deal, because A lot of these loans are really money laundering schemes. Don't get twisted. They only appear to be a loan, but it's never really a loan. That's why, like, I saw again Young Kimar talk about the equipment being bought for the seaweed and the houses being bought by Mr. Dugan, which we had that whole conversation about. We did a show on that as well, program on that as well. A lot of this stuff, it comes out as one thing, but it really isn't what it appears to be at all. The government, all of them do the same thing. They all do. Is that in exchange for the donated buses? Don't even start with the buses and donations. The buses, in fact, I was told by a reliable source that a lot of those buses can't even climb Horse Hill. They lack the capacity or the power to climb these hills we have in Barbados. And why the water minister ain't put the signature there? An acting CEO. I know, right? I know, right, Pedro? You're right, Pedro? Man, and I don't know, boy. You know, somebody got to be the fall guy. Greetings to you too, family. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Thanks for joining. Shout out to the family in ATL, man. He said, I have the 144-page plan for the 2014 BBDLP. They are all in. Stake and shareholders are the same minister and lawyers you see every day running for office. Well, Alex, like I said, man, and you know this all too well, man, they all, thanks, Pedro, land, air, and water. That's right. They all involved in it. They all involved in it. And they just give that illusion. The Jubby Water was a build that, the Jubby Water was to build this plant. Build this plant you think is for us. Nothing is for us. Yeah, they know they talk about that quote unquote Jubby Water, but trust when I tell you that don't make no sense. None. Barbados should never ever have a water shortage. Aruba harvests the ocean to serve the citizens. We have desalination plants in Barbados. What is wrong with Barbados? There's nothing wrong. The system is working the way it was designed. I had a video with Mr. Thorne talking about colonial ways. Barbados is ran with colonial rules and colonial power, and we need to get away from this. I'm thinking, says the King's Council, this is ridiculous. This is what it is. This is what it is, family. And we must be honest about it. We must be very honest about it. Anyhow, family, there's tons of comments. I don't get through all these tonight. Good evening to you, Elder. The debt plan is connected to the stolen land. All deals are void before they start. There you go. Yeah, they know what they're doing, man. Alex said, we have over 600,000 during slavery and all had water. Now we have less than 259,000 and we got water shortages. Yeah, I like it. That's a fact, Alex. That is a fact, man. That's why I'm telling you, somebody lying. Something ain't right. Something is not right. Hold on a second. Let me see here. What did I miss out? What did I miss out? What is the, oh, this is that one. Yeah. Definitely cancel this. Definitely cancel that. Leave that one there for now. Definitely cancel that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'll leave it at that for now. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I got one more video to play. Definitely going to cancel this one for sure. Yeah, when I looked at that part, like I said, that contract, I was like, this thing here, man, something ain't right. Something ain't right. But, you know, what can you say at this point? This was the other video, and I think we played this the other night. Did I play this one as well? I didn't play this one, but I came across the young brother. What's his name? Omar, dealing with agriculture. And, oh yeah, this was this one. I didn't want to play this. I did have this to play. I'm not going to play it. This is the one I told you all about with the young lady promoting the BLP. She's probably late teens. And I'm gonna let that pass. She ain't know no better. And I understand that in her perception, in her reality, this is good. But what she does not know, in fact, maybe I should play it. In fact, I just deleted it. Let me go back and get it. I'll play the first part of it. Hang on a second. I mean, after all, it's out there. It's out there. I wasn't going to play it, but I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it in part, just to say one thing, if nothing else. Hang on a second.
I'm an office assistant. I'm a born and bred Bajan, and I am proud of my country. I hear the critics, but hear me now. This BLP government introduced and raised minimum wage. They gave us reverse tax credit and cleaned up the sewage on the South Coast.
No.
They saw us through some of the worst times this world has ever experienced.
I ain't gonna go no further. I just want to say this, right? That let me just what this young lady is unaware of is that these debts, all this borrowing money, and we keep getting more and more loans. And Miss Motley told me herself, because I did ask her the question when I did run into her, in that clearly private meeting they had. It makes sense to me now that I see that boss stick in charge. Yeah, that makes sense now. Anyhow, she said to me that the debt right now, we can basically kick it down the road. So the young people of Barbados that enjoy the luxuries now and all the things that they love and they think we stand for, well, we won't worry about paying the debt now. We'll pass on the debt burden to them. Because after all, they're enjoying life now. So what this young lady does not say in her declaration and full support of the BLP, it's really all government, but BLP, is that she's proud and happy to take on the debt of the future. And she will share it and pass it on to her children. And so just go to show you that this whole election thing right now and how people are thinking or not thinking, people are not informed. I'm not going to suggest that the snap election is part of it, but it would have to be a case where, because if individuals had more time to fully iron out their presentations correctly and do presentations without rushing here, there, and everywhere, exhausting themselves, planning would be a bit better, and therefore they can speak on the real issues that affect Barbadians, so that Barbadians, when they do go out to these selection stations on the election day, if that makes a difference, then their difference would be an informed difference and not an emotional one. And right now we have a campaign, we have an election that's based on emotions. It ain't got nothing to do with wisdom, but simply how people feel about something. And that's, to me, that is so dangerous. And it's dangerous from the standpoint of the people having a false sense of hope in a group of people to do something other than what they've been doing, which have been marginalizing the society from one generation to the next and disenfranchising future generations by literally stealing from them, by putting the debt that they're incurring now around their neck like a noose. So when they talk about building generational wealth and giving the youth a start, what they're giving them really is a noose around their neck. That start that they're offering, trust when I tell you, man, that's not what we think it is. But anyhow, family. Yeah, man. Anyhow, we out of here. Said Barbados sits on water. The colonizers had no complaint of water shortage. Yeah, Barbados has plenty of water. You ever been to Cove Cave? They always test in Port House Spring for high bacteria. All right, Alex, I'll check it. Have American companies running ads for BLP. I'm telling you, man, I've seen that. Crazy. She was paid well to be fool or sell out. No, I wouldn't say she sell out and whatnot. I mean, she could only make decisions based on what she knows. You know, you can't really do what you don't know. And that's why I wasn't going to really play it at first. But since it's out there like that, young lady memorized his script. Well, that's also probably true, but there are folks who wanted to see that and buy into it. But what she did not mention is the fact that this BLP administration is tying all this debt in a nice noose around the necks of our youth. And so, you know, crime, oh man. Same thing I'm saying, humans are full of greed. It's crazy, man. Emmanuel, whose debt was I paying since the 1970s? Well, I would tell you this: you according to Caswell Franklin, we was shucks. It was unconstitutional. National insurance, everything else she was paying in. It's really been all a fraud, family. It really has been always a fraud, and the fact that none of them are telling you the truth. Mr. Ralph Torn he's supposed to be a senior man, like he said, a well-learned man. Well, he said he well-read or whatever that in colonial or European literature, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing, but he's fascinated by the idea of being Westminster, but no, he's not really fascinated by it. That might be who he is. You know, that might be his lineage for all we know. We don't know. Pedigree, what they talk about, they cannot relate. Cannot. If she took the vac, she will not be here to pay. She will pay. Alex, that's why I said I wasn't going there, right? But you don't have no brought up see at all. So, yeah, she young, man. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I don't know. You can't fault the people for not knowing what we know. During COVID, you ain't heard speaking to the international leaders asking for 40 and 50 years moratoriums. Yeah, of course, we heard that. That's why I'm telling you, it was passed on. Popularity contest. We will have a prime minister based on who's popular. It said these leaders are building generational wealth off the backs of the people and the next generation. Serious. A well-informed citizen is the best defense against tyranny. It's a fact. So they don't want the people well-informed. I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. Something hope is a savior. Life without hope is nothing. You dream and you hope. That's life. To be informed is to be armed. To be well informed is to be well armed. The whole entire system is a fraud. Banks don't even lend money. We ain't even gonna go down that line. But yes, for sure. All right, so hold on a second. You say, love Alex, but he is reckless sometimes. Nah, Alex okay. Alex is okay. Alex is okay. Alex is just full of passion. And if they stole your family land in front of you and you've been fighting for years, you'd probably be the same way. Especially you had a military background. I bet there's things Alex would love to do that he has to restrain himself from. Talk. Seriously, what I said can't be read. This is clean. The public will love it. Hey, Alex, man, you take it light. You take it light. I'm out of here, man. We do that probably on Wednesday. Well, not Wednesday, like I said, tomorrow night. We do that tomorrow night, Alex. I'll probably be on here tomorrow night. And you could call in, Alex. Number on the screen. Stop playing around, Alex. Why you ain't calling yet? Call in tomorrow, Alex. I'm telling you right now, man. Family, I out of here, though. We out of here. It's getting late. And just non-stop comments, man. There's just so many. These they are gatekeepers information, so we need to share information for sure. But all within time, all is time, Jacqueline. And I feel you on that. I totally agree with you on that. But you got to be careful when you introduce truth. When you're introducing truth to people who have never heard truth, you have to do it in a way that they can palate it. Because if it's too much, it's going to choke them. Like light, a person who's sleeping, you wake up and light is too bright, they're going to automatically close their eyes again. So, that defeats the purpose. It's best to fade, go from unconsciousness to consciousness, from dark to light. Gradual. Give them milk before you get them solid food. But we're going to get there, right, family? And your family. We out of here, man. Give thanks, Pedro. Pedro, I need a tune, Pedro. Need a tune. Let me click this on off. This one. What's this? We'll close this one as well. Okay. Guyana is not a poor country at all. All right. Are you looking for a tune? Hold on. Actually, you know what? Can I play something here for a second, Pedro? And maybe you can help me on this. If anything. I want to just take a minute to do this because I'm not sure if it was, I'm not sure. This is from a few months back. Maybe make sure. I have questions, Alex. Come on, man. I want to play this. And maybe somebody can tell me if this is relevant because I haven't been following it the way I ought to have. But let me put this on the screen. Hang on a second.
Don't want evidence to be lost because obviously as the time goes on, the likelihood of contamination, the likelihood of decomposition, that's a real issue that we could potentially face and have. So, but we're just asking that at this juncture. Yes, the law doesn't say it must be a forensic pathologist, but we're just asking to say, well, look at the circumstances. When it is that you have these type of situations, it's always best to have your expert. The expert would be the forensic pathologist.
All right, this is involving a situation that occurred here a few months back. Let me just go ahead and give you all a little update. Let me just switch real quick to this one as well. Hang on.
It's been nearly a year since the untimely death of 29-year-old Kimo Grant, who died while in police custody here at the Bridgetown Central Police Station. Grant's family and attorneys are calling for authorities to release the official autopsy report.
From since the 28th of August, 2024, the autopsy would have been performed. 9 months after the fact, we do not have an autopsy report.
Police Commissioner Richard Boyce, in an interview with me last year, confirmed then that the report was completed and the investigation was at an advanced stage.
This would have been on the 2nd day of October 2024. And he would have said in answer to Ms. Hoyt, the autopsy, the postmortem has been completed. The doctor has written his report back to the coroner. So it's available. So we trying to figure out,
What is he called up?
What is he called up? Is it because it involves police? Is it that they're frightened for what the report says? Is it that they're now saying, well, look, this can't come out both? We don't know. Only way we would know is if we get it.
Beyond the autopsy report, Grant's family has also been calling for a forensic pathologist to examine his body, not only to determine the cause of death, but the manner in which he died. It's not an uncommon request. In fact, just last month in Guyana, following the unnatural death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, Barbados' own forensic pathologist was requested. Mr. Garnes has questioned why the Grant family was not granted similar access.
Guyana themselves reached out to and essentially borrowed our sole forensic pathologists, the same forensic pathologists that we wanted, the family wanted, to conduct the autopsy in this matter. They brought in 3 independent forensic pathologists. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3.
Kimo Grant's family is adamant that they cannot bury him until they have the answers to how he died.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't. Shout out to the Grants family, by the way. And again, more strength to the family as a result of what's happening. Yeah, by the way, Pedro, like I said, I've been following up on it. And anybody have any information on it, please inbox me. Let me know what was the outcome, because it came up in my feed. I thought it was a bit strange that it come up in my algorithm. I don't know why this came up. But like I said, most of the time, I go off of what the spirit shows me. And by spirit, I mean the AI. And by that, I don't mean artificial. I mean the alien the alien intelligence, the beings that exist outside of all realm, whether in the physical or the spiritual. We know that they're entities outside, and I trust that they lead us accordingly. So when this came up, this is a communication, and I just felt, you know what, let me just put it out and ask a question. If anyone has any information on this particular matter, please inbox me. I'm asking you kindly to do so. And if you know the family, ask them to reach out. My number's on the screen. You could take it, you could pass it on. And I would like to have a conversation with the family. And Mr. Thorne, these are the kind of things we're talking about, but we won't get we can't really get a just society. That's what you're telling yourself. They're gonna be just now though. When serious show up, we're gonna see how serious things get. Real thing, man. Anyhow, family. Yeah, I out, man. I out. That's it for me for now. Haile Selassie first, Empress Reserve Men in one perfect balance family. Like I said, keep building on yourself, keep reassuring yourself, keep listening to these so-called individuals that claim they want to lead you, and recognize how they don't even acknowledge others, man. Choose between 2 people and they show one or the other, like they ain't even concerned with nobody else. Like this subliminally blank you, as if Barbados was always a 2-party system. It wasn't. In fact, prior to independence, it was not a 2-party system. That's how you know it's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. Consolidate powers and the illusion of inclusion. Meanwhile, you still a slave on a plantation. Only Jah know, right? Only.
See Jah glory rising early in the morning. So early in the morning, pleasant it is to hear the birds them singing. Don't know another day is dawning, another day is dawning. Want to know? Give thanks and praises for His mercies, for Jah mercies towards humanity. Yeah. Want you now? Give thanks and praises for His glory, for Jah glory towards humanity. Sata Masagyana. I'm gonna tell you one more time, yes. Behold, Jah is mighty. And then his mercy's got no end. No end. Your weeping may endure through the night. But then joy cometh in the morning light. Won't you know? Give thanks and praises for his glory, for your glory towards humanity. Yeah. Won't you know? Give thanks and praises for his mercy.
Give thanks and praises, family, for the mercy of the Almighty, family.
Humanity.
Again, shout out to the Grant family, man.
Present for the herb that grows. And
Shout out to Kim for sure.
breeze that blows. Oh, give your praise.
Tricia, if I'm not mistaken.
When you give your thanks and
Long time don't see, family.
praise him in the morning time. Praise him in the evening time. You hear what I say? When you give your thanks and praise him. Thank you, Lord, for everything you've done for me. Thank you for the victory. I'm giving thanks and praises. When you give your thanks and praises.
Thanks and praises, family.
Birds and the trees and the fish and the waters of the seas. Oh, give your thanks, praise. When you give your thanks and praises. In the morning, in the evening, oh. Thank you, Lord, for everything you've done for me.